You're very welcome to another vlog, and this time around I've travelled south through County Wicklow to Tomnafinnoge wood, and the wood itself is probably one of the largest stands of some of the oldest oak plantations here in County Wicklow and indeed in Ireland. It's a good distance from home, but I've paid a visit on 2 or 3 occasions earlier in the year, and I thought I held some promise for autumn colour. Now it's late November, we're really at the end of that season, so I knew I was taking a little chance coming down here, just looking for splashes of golden beech leaves, or to find that magic tree. And I have been out since I came home from Scotland in search of that magic tree, that beautiful composition in a woodland tree I might not have seen before, and I haven't found it. So I've come down here to explore a little further afield. So it's just after sunrise, and arriving in the car park here, I was immediately greeted by the soft pew of bullfinches and the harsh tack of the kingfisher along the river. The stands of oak trees here are so impressive, but as you know, with oak trees there's very little rich colour in those trees, and it's very hard to capture the immensity of a big oak. So my focus today, I think, is going to be on the understory and looking for those small beeches or maybe a stand of birch to the edge of the wood. Now, Tomnafinnoge wood itself comprise many thousands of acres of oak woodland, and it has been decimated over the centuries. The oak from the woods in this area of Wicklow were used to build King's College Cambridge, Trinity College Dublin, and Westminster Abbey. But at least today there's a fragment of the wood for landscape photographers and the general public to enjoy and explore and try to capture a little bit of the magic that might have been present back then. So let's see how we get on with the day. Well, here's my first composition for the day, and what a beautiful tree it is. I positioned the camera awkwardly behind another tree, and I've scanned the area to look for the best angle. You can see the leaves are that golden copper colour. There's a beautiful coating of moss right the way along the trunk here as it snakes across the frame. From the left hand side, the lower left third will be the trunk, and the tree itself will take up the frame of the image over to the right hand side. Now, there's a little issue, which is the tree to the right of me here, and instead of trying to exclude it from the photograph, I've included it, but at least it gives me options in post-processing. I'm shooting at about f8 or f9, but I'm also going to shoot the image at f5.6 or f4, just to give a little bit of softness to the backdrop. Because if you notice in the video, the trees in the background, they're not dominant, they're not crisp, they're not distracting so much from the composition, as often is the case in a woodland like this. So, but I certainly will apply a softness to the backdrop and try to get some separation, because you probably see in the video here, The tree doesn't pop out in the video, and it won't pop out in the photograph. And that's where a little bit of craft in Photoshop will come into play. So I'm going to get behind the camera now. I'll take the image and we'll move on and look for another composition. Well, it's a little later in the morning and some sunlight is pushing through into the forest, but there's a little bit of cloud around, which I want, because there is too much texture within the forest to accommodate additional contrast provided by direct sunlight. So I've taken this shot here. This is my second composition. I'm not too sure about it. We basically have the trees behind me here. I think this tree should be in shot. And what really drew my eye initially was the distant fallen tree here. So the number of diagonals, fallen trees within the frame, to the right of the frame, ending in the moss-covered tree here, which is in an opening. So there's more light getting at that. I've wandered through the upper part of the forest, which was thick with holly undergrowth, and I presented few opportunities for images. So I've come into a more open part, a part that showcases the large oaks of Tomnafinnoge, and it was great to find a little scene, this beach, I think it's a beach, beneath the grand oaks of Tomnafinnoge wood. And you can see around me here the leaves are falling. So we've got to the stage of not just the year, but the day when I better take that photograph quick before everything hits the ground. Well, it's the middle of the morning now, and to be quite honest, hunger's taken a little bit of a hold, so I'm tempted to go back to the car. But this patch of woodland with the froggins here in the undergrowth and a beach and the oak trees, it just keeps stopping me, and I'm really enjoying the openness of this forest. Now, this is a very different scene. There's a little bit of light coming in. It's very green in the foreground. But I know, looking through the camera at about 100mm, there's a compression of a multitude of colours, stretching from the copper beach right the way back to greens and hints of yellows, right the way through that frame. And the composition is very simple. We've got the oak tree on this side anchoring the right-hand side of the frame, and the beech tree on this side. Now, you could argue that two objects don't work. They cancel each other out. Maybe we need a third in there for a little bit of balance within the actual frame. But I'm going to go with this. I like the image, and it's yeah, it's as simple as that. I just like what I'm seeing in the back of the camera. So I'm going to take this image and get out of my shot, and we'll move on to the next spot. Well, I'm still here, and that dappled light coming in, you'll see it in the background here. So I'm exposing for those highlights, those splashes of light. And again, this is a very simple scene. I've just seen the light. You know, a little tip, when you're shooting woodland, if you find a hill like this, because this is a hill going up, you can exclude the sky. you know, and if I just pan up there, you see the sky's up there. We want to cut that sky out and shoot into the hill and into the woodland. Whenever you fill the frame with texture and your highlights aren't blown out and you don't have to fill them in or discard the photograph. So again, we've got the little froggins, a mixture of froggins, fallen leaves and ferns in the foreground. It's a mess, but that's okay, I'm happy with that. And then it's a little bit of structure, you know. We've got some, they're all oak trees, so 5 or 6 oak trees just spread across the frame, not crossing over each other. And a lovely little photograph with that dappled light. Well, I'm back at the little bridge that leads into the main car park here at Tomnafinnoge Wood. So I've had a great morning and I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. Thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you get a chance to hit that button. So until next time.